listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
Hey folks, welcome to the broadcast. Happy Friday evening. This is Scotty Roberts. You're listening to and watching the Intrepid radio program right here on my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Mr. Scotty Roberts. We're live tonight, as we have been for the last few months. And we also rebroadcast over at Odyssey Radio. That's ODYSY1.com. Go on over and see all the goodness that's Odyssey Radio. And at the same time, check out the schedule, because all throughout the day, they rebroadcast this show. And so you can go listen to, if you're not there live for the nightly show, or the rebroadcast, such as it may be, you can hear it all throughout the next day at different intervals of time. And so go on over and take a listen. And I think he's still going through some old archives of mine until we get our tech up and working with being able to broadcast live to both venues, both here on the YouTube channel and there on Odyssey Radio. And so I want to thank you all for being here. I see my lovely wife is over there. She's doing something that drives me nuts. She doesn't even know I'm looking at her. And she's looking at her computer, and her side is to me, and she's leaning back like this. And she took her ponytail out, and she's fluffing up all of her long hair. Oh, my goodness. There it is. I wish you could see what I could see. But that was fantastic. Thank you, Rainey.
You're welcome.
And so, yes, Rainey is in the studio tonight, but her half of the studio. So she's not over here. And yes, I agree with Leslie. Hey, Leslie, good to see you. And Doug Stack, good to see you. Steve Clark, nice to have you in tonight. And Siani Reese, good to see you. You were the first one in here tonight, I do believe. And Barbie D, you're over there. Michelle Dunbar, good to see you as well. So it looks like everybody's showing up. Matt Finn, Master Finn, good to see you, sir. It's good to have you in here. It's good to have a first mate running things while I'm off doing my own junk. So good to see you here. And did I see Helene? Helene Moody. Good to see you, Helene, from over there across the pond the other way. And let's see who else we got in here. Elder Barry, I thought I had seen you. This is what's fun about doing the live broadcast. I can say hi to all those who are making their faces visible in the chat room. So, folks, if you're just listening in the background and you're not in the chat room, you don't have to come in the chat room. But if you'd like to, come on in, meet everybody, show your face, leave some comments, be part of the show. And I should do this. I should let you know that if you want to come in here tonight into the show at the appropriate time when I call for it, I'm going to put a link here, paste, and send. There you go, over there in the chat room. That's the link where you can come and be part of this show. And so mind that link, and you'll see it over there. And you can come on in. I'll tell you when. Well, you can line up now. It doesn't mean I'll call you in right now, but go ahead and line up. We're going to talk some stuff that's, we don't talk enough about the paranormal stuff. Then again, when we were talking the Fae and the fairy folk, and we had Barry Fitzgerald on talking about his experiences, that's all pretty wild stuff. That's all pretty wild paranormal. Are you coming over to join me?
I might.
Oh. It's almost like a Sunday morning thing.
Good morning. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing.
Show them what you were doing with your hair.
This.
She was going like that, only from the side, and it was great.
Yeah,
see? Yeah, there it is. Without the great face going along with it. So, hey, Kelly, good to see you. So, hey, Mama, says Matt Finn. I think that's directed to you.
Yeah, you're my mama.
So, yeah, I'm your mama. I'll be your mama. So,
thank you, Leslie. Happy Mother's Day to you too.
Yeah, that's coming up. That's this Sunday.
It is.
You gonna be on with me on Sunday morning?
Yeah, and then I'm going to my
Day?
ma's.
Going to her ma's.
Going to my ma's to celebrate my brother's birthday too.
So, so I'm going to be able to celebrate Mother's Day with Rainey in the morning. So I got to make her breakfast in bed or something, or send all the kids away. I'm going to give you breakfast in bed. Would you like some sausages?
Do not wake me up. Do not wake me up. I will murder you. I will shove your own sausage down your throat.
Happy Mother's Day. Are you awake?
Oh, jeez.
Hey, Ryan Gale. Good to see you. So, how are you all going to be spending Mother's Day? Are you the mother that is being targeted and everybody's going to come and visit you and do stuff? Or are you going somewhere else, and in-laws or your own parents or something like that? You're back in Canada. You happy? You talking to me? I don't live in Canada. I'm close enough, though, I guess.
Canada.
We're close. We're like 6 hours north of here, and we're in Canada. So.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada. Na, 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 na. That's all I know of it.
Yeah, we're not Canadians.
No, we're not. We are not Canucks. So, Steve's working on his tractor. Beth Kirkham, how you doing? You're going to spend it with your daughter. That's pretty cool. Leslie's going to skip it this year. No. Doug is, my wife's going back to work. I'm going to boil crawfish at my mommy and daddy's. Nice. Very nice. So your wife's going to work on Mother's Day, Doug? Oh, well.
Mother's Day is every day. We freaking work our butts off all the time.
That's right. Yeah, you go check your dinging phone over there.
I am. Well, I forgot to send out my post, and I got to get this out to my den.
Yes, Miss Den Mother over there working. So, I'm having a bad hair day, so you'll have to put up with me. And there, I'll just stand like this. How's that? Here, yeah, I'll just stand today. I'll broadcast this way. Then I don't have to show my bad hair. So, having a bad hair day. Now, for me, a bad hair day is a day where my hair is just simply looking too baldy and thin. And so it just doesn't do what you want to do. How can you have good hair days and bad hair days? What is it about body chemistry that you go, oh, today my hair is luscious, and you can do the slow-mo flipping of your hair if you got it.
You're just old.
I'm just old, Rainey said. See, my wife loves me, and she knows I'm old too. So she knows where wisdom comes from. So let's see. The wife gets to sleep in. I'll make a brunch, says Matt Finn. I got flowers and chocolate for her. Even made a card. You know, I got a gift for Rainey that was supposed to be for me and the kids. And I had to order it by a certain day in order to get it by Mother's Day. Hasn't shown up. So there you go. I might have to do a plan B. So Durwood is here. Good to see you, Durwood. Nice to have you in the chat room today. And Steve Clark is just staying away from my mom. Too much negativity from her the last few weeks. Yeah, we know how that is. Sometimes I got to call my mom. My mom's down in Arizona, so I got to call her for Mother's Day. I may just call her tomorrow and kind of beat it. You know, here's the thing. I'm the kind of person who can remind myself every day that I got to do something. I got to call my mom for her birthday, or call my dad for this, or whoever for that, and so on. And you know what happens? I remember it every day for 3 weeks, and then the day of, I forget. And then the next day, I'm like, oh, I forgot yesterday. So that's the way I tend to be. But so I might have to call her tomorrow. Yeah, exactly, Matt Finn. CRS disease. So I started talking about, we've been talking about the Fae this last week, the fairy folk. We had Barry on Fitzgerald, and we talked about his experiences. And, I have talked about, I don't think, if you've heard this before and heard the clip on this before, let me know. And that's okay. I'm just going to do it again anyway if you've already heard it. Oh, Iowa X, I didn't say hey to you, brother. Good to see you. I hope you weren't hurt. I think you're still here. So remember when Rainey took me on my birthday last November to the Water Street Inn where she does massage? It's the old hotel in Stillwater, Minnesota. It was built in 1890. And it's been, of course, renovated, and they've done some updates and stuff, but they still have some of the old rooms there. And we did a little ghost hunting after, well, how do you want to say? No, never mind. There's too many entendres. I was going to say that's not the only reason we went to the hotel. It was my birthday. Rainey took me to the birthday. We had a hot tub room with a fireplace in it and a separate room where the bed was. And it was gorgeous, gorgeous room facing the river off of our balcony, the St. Croix River, which divides Minnesota and Wisconsin. And so after making sure my K2 meter worked, Rainey took me ghost hunting. She just rolled her eyes at me. So I don't get it. I thought that was good humor. So anyway, so we went ghost hunting that night, and we got the recording of the woman singing. And so I'm going to play that. I've got 3 separate clips I've divided up, and we're going to play that. I'm going to tell you that little story as we go here. And I also, and that's why I put the title on it. I do ghosts sing, do spirits sing. I'm sure, and I suppose if they can talk, if they can do any of that, if they really exist the way we experience them, yeah, of course they can sing. So the question wasn't meant to be something we're going to explore and see if the answer exists, but or the answer is out there, but already conclude that, yeah, the answer is there. And we experienced that. And it was a first for me, being able to record the voice of a singing spirit. Oh, I see a head bobbing. Hi, come up here. You might as well say hi since you're in here making noise and making your presence known. There you go. Here, move over this way a little bit. There, see? Now you're in the picture. There's Ellie. And so tell me something about your day today. How was your day? Okay. I love you. Bye. See ya. And so there was Ellie. Steve Clark says, this is my story. I've been working with her on stuff in case she passes away. Oh, okay. Something different on a personal front. Good to see that, Steve, what you're doing. And so this particular story, yeah, some of you remember the story. I'm not sure. I did get an audio clip that night, and I'm not sure if I think I may have tried to play it on the show, and I wasn't sure if it was playing well or not, but I've tried to divide it up. Now, I've gone through and I've enhanced the singing portions. Now, by enhancement, I don't mean I've added anything to fake the sound or anything. All I did was I increased the volume and I took down some of the hissing white noise. And it's a lot louder in those sections, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it clearly. But in taking down the hissing sound and all, I'm hoping that you'll hear some of the singing parts as we heard them. And so Rainey and I were there on November 23rd was the night we were there, is when we caught this. And the story, and Rainey, if you want to add anything to this, the story is as we were doing some ghost hunting, and it was later in the evening, we spent, we spent the afternoon and the evening and the early night all up in the room and the hot tub and all that stuff and fireplace and things like that. And then around about 10:30, 11 o'clock, we said, let's go do some ghost hunting. We brought all this equipment. And that was something that Rainey had told the management she wanted to do. And they were all for it. They thought this would be very cool to see what we could get. And so we went into the bar and we did some videos that night on the Facebook and did some live video streams. And then around midnight, we went into the 1890s room. And one of the rooms in the 1890s section. And that's where Rainey had said that we were kind of divided up. I was sitting in the bedroom section, and she was sitting over in the living room section on the sofa. And we were running some equipment just to see if we could get recordings and so on. And she told me when I finally went over there and we started talking, she said, I got the impression of a woman, an older woman, a mature woman, in other words. And she was in a older dress, long dress to the floor, refined. And I got the impression that she was, this is Rainey speaking to me, that she was bending over toward me and whispering in my ear, speaking in my ear like this, and was saying, she was telling Rainey, will you sing the song Loch Lomond? And that's the song, as you know, that goes, you take the high road, I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afore ye. And that song. And she wanted us to especially sing the second or the third verse of the song. And so I said, sure. I said, now, I asked Rainey, I said, now you're hearing this in your ear? And she said, yeah, I'm getting that this is what this woman is asking me. So I went ahead and I sang the third verse of the song. Then we sang the whole song. And we've got recorders going the whole time. And we did ask, when we were done, I asked, okay, if you were asking for a song, talking to the lady that had spoken to Rainey, I said, we'd love to hear you sing the song. Will you sing it for us? And we were very quiet and we were recording. We didn't pick anything up at the time, or at least we haven't gone through still some of those tapes from that night, because the one we did get back was from later in the evening. And it was so impressive that I don't think we even dug any deeper than that. But let's see. Leslie said, oh, yes, I know that song well. My papa would sing it. And Molly Malone. Yeah, both of those. I sing both of those for the kids. And so we went to bed, probably in bed about 1 o'clock, thereabouts. And rooms are very dark. I was surprised how dark the room was. And we're in a big Polster bed, an old antique bed, or made to look antique, in the old room. And around about, I want to say 3 o'clock to 3:15, I feel Rainey sit up in the bed. And they were and just a sound that I remember very well. It was like there were very crisp white cotton sheets in this bed. And as she sat up, you could just hear them kind of crinkle with that comfortable cotton sound. And she sits up and I say, what's up? And she said something like, I hear music. And she thought she was hearing instruments playing. Now, you know that it was odd and out of the ordinary, because usually hearing music when you're staying in a hotel or even at night, sometimes, hearing music is not a big odd thing. It could be a car going by. It could be, if you're in a hotel, it could be somebody in another room. It could be a band that's playing in the bar in some other part of the hotel or somewhere down the street, and it's just wafting on the air just right. And you can hear those things. Now, what was a couple of factors about that night, November 23rd of last year, all of Minnesota was in lockdown. The governor of Minnesota had closed down all the bars and the restaurants. And so there was nobody out making merry, especially at 3 a.m. on the following morning. And so there's nobody downtown. I know when we started hearing what Rainey thought was music, we were checking all around, and we walked all the way over into the other room and out onto the balcony. Our balcony was facing the river, and there was no sound coming from anywhere. And it was dead calm downtown Stillwater at 3 a.m. on November, what would be the 24th now. And so there was no music wafting in. And you know what? We're not rubes. We didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday. you know what music sounds like when it's coming from a radio in a car or from a bar or something like that. And so we immediately canceled that out. Then Rainey thought she opened up the bedroom door and was listening out in the hallway. There was no music from the hallway. There was only one other person in the hotel that night. Now, the reason we were staying there, she worked there. She did massage there. And she had been talking to them about doing ghost investigations there. And so she got us the room for my birthday. And there was one other person staying in the hotel. They were way at the far end of the hall and downstairs. And then there was one person working the front desk. And that was it. There was no music playing. There were no bands that night because the bar had been closed for the night. And, for a couple of months there. And because of the lockdown. And there was one other person. They were not playing music. The guy at the front desk who Rainey knew, he said, no, we're not. There's no music being played. And so this is all happening. You'll hear some of this in the recordings. Hey, this is my story. Nice to see you. Just saw you in there. Nice to have you in here tonight. And and Michelle Canham Free is here. I love you too. Glad to have you here. And so here we are at 3 a.m. We're hearing music. Rainey thinks it's music. I think I'm hearing a voice. But it was so low as to not really be able to tell. You couldn't tell a tune. You couldn't tell if it was a voice or music at first. And so what I did, I grabbed my phone. And because it was all I had with me next to the bed, grabbed my phone and I hit record a video. And I held it up like this for about 3.5 minutes. And we picked up something, and it was rather extraordinary. And I will tell you what, I took this little clip of video, and before I even enhanced the sound to make it louder, amplifying the sound, I had sent it off to somebody I know in the paranormal world who I trust. And I said, I didn't give him any backstory. I just said, hey, I got this recording a couple of nights ago. I said, can you take this and tell me if you hear anything in it? I said, I think I hear something and it's pretty extraordinary. Tell me what you hear. And he got back to me in a day and he said, I played that. And he says, I heard a woman singing. He said, it sounded like a sad ballad. And he said, but I couldn't make out the words or the tune. He says, I listened to it over and over and over again. So I said, well, thanks. That kind of confirms what I think I'm hearing. And so now I want to prep you guys a little bit because I've got 3 clips. I've taken this 3.5 minutes, and I don't have overly tight control over how these things play. I can't talk over them as I play them for you. So I may stop them, but then I can't pick up where I left off. It just starts it all over again. That's one of the limitations of this program I use for this. But I'm going to play these for you, and I'm going to prepare you. If you want to hear these really well, turn your volume up very loud or use a headset and make sure there's no external noise. You put the headset on and listen tightly, and you'll hear and I can't narrate it at all. I'm just going to play it, and I'll play them again if you want to hear them. Let's see. This is my story. When do we get to listen to the video? We are ready, says This Is My Story. Any moment now. Just giving some instructions. I want to prep you to be able to go get a headset if you need it so you can hear this. So, without much more ado to this, I think I've built up what this is all about. I'm going to start playing these. You'll hear Rainey and I. There's a point where her voice sounds really shaky. It's not because she's afraid. It's because she just woke up out of a dead sleep. And so I'm going to play clip number 1 here. And I want to see if you can... now, you guys ready? Turn your sound up, and you're going to have to listen really closely during these amplified sections because it's very low on the scale. So here we go. Here's clip number 1.
Almost sounds like somebody's singing in the room.
Okay, that was clip number 1. Now, it didn't pick up till toward the end of that clip. I could hear little bits and pieces because I've heard it 10 times before, 100 times. But you could hear that little bit of in the background. You heard the music. So what I heard was somebody singing and almost like a humming. And so I'm going to play clip 2 now and see what you think of this. So stand by. There's more. There's 2 more clips here. Here's clip number 2.
What's down in the hallway?
Could you sing louder?
Somebody's playing music somewhere. It's not anybody singing in
Yeah,
here.
where is it? And see, it sounded like music playing, but then it sounded like somebody's humming. Like,
There's like a fiddle. Someone's got a fiddle or a guitar. There's 2 instruments playing, it sounds like.
Okay, that was clip 2. Now, some of you are hearing flute music or you're hearing some other kind of music. I was only hearing voice, and I listened very closely and over again. And I was trying to decipher some of those areas. Now, here's clip 3. This is toward the end of what I was able to capture that night. And see what you think of this. And it picks up, there's some kind of quieter parts and picks up again at the end. But here we go. Here's clip number 3.
I heard the one that sounds like a voice. Can you hear it out there?
I can hear it a little bit up there, but I hear it better in here. But there's somebody walking down the stairs or what? It's still playing.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So those are the 3 clips that I pulled out. They're sequential, but I didn't want to play the whole thing at one time. And Doug said, I said that because Rainey said a fiddle. Yeah, Rainey said a fiddle. I did not hear fiddle music. Some of those little turns where she thought she was hearing music, I pulled it up and I listened to it very closely. And I didn't catch instrumentation at all. And so I thought I was really impressed with that. And if you want, I'll play one of these clips one more time. I think it's the middle clip, number 2, that had some of the best stuff in it. So let me play this again. You can see what you think of this. And I might be able to get some audio over this. Let's see. Here we go.
It's down in the hallway.
Could you sing louder?
Somebody's playing music somewhere. It's not anybody singing in
Yeah,
here.
where is it? And see, it sounded like music playing, but then it sounded like somebody's humming. Like,
There's like a fiddle. Someone's got a fiddle or a guitar. There's two instruments playing, it sounds like.
So there you go. Now, I know a lot of people have heard, well, not a lot, a few people have said, well, I heard music or instruments in there. I didn't hear instruments at all. Now, maybe it's because I'm the one sitting here at the soundboard and I'm elevating those sounds. I've got them so loud that it almost distorts it at points just so I can hear what's there. And because I was trying to make out if there were any words or any tune that was discernible. And I couldn't. There's just, it's too low. Now, if you heard when Rainey and I were talking, hear how quiet it gets just before I talk, or just before it goes back into the sound. That's how quiet it was before I enhanced the volume of this. So it was so darn quiet you couldn't even hear it at first. And I don't know how I detected on the line of the sound line. You couldn't see much variation until I blew it way up and I looked at it and I could see there was variation. So I listened and I enhanced the sound. So that is what we got that night. And, I don't know if we all got different things. This is my story. I think we all heard it differently. It's all how our speakers will carry it or our headsets will carry it. So I might make this available once again so you can go download it or listen to it online with your speakers and see what you think. Or if you email me or send me a message, I'll send you the raw copy of this and you can listen to it for yourself. So I thought it was interesting. To me, I heard singing. I didn't hear instruments. And that was very unique to me. I'd never experienced that before. So I hope you enjoyed hearing those clips. So you know what we're going to do right now? We're just going to go take a little minute and a half break. It's 9:34. And so I'm going to have you just sit tight. We're going to play this little clip. It's a little shameless self-promotion, but it's my show, and I don't have a lot of advertising on it other than my own stuff. So sit back. We'll be right back in about a minute or so.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with two T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad, so he can take me to Disneyland.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
So what do you think, folks? Do ghosts sing? I think so. Now, again, then that begs the question, is what we hear or experience when we're doing this research, is it really a ghost? Is it a ghost? Is it a spirit? Is it interdimensional? Is it something totally different? And so this is some questions that we have to ask as we do this. And by the way, those of you joining us in the second half hour here, I'm Scotty Roberts. You're listening to the Intrepid radio program right here on the Odyssey Radio Network and on my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Mr. Scotty Roberts. And if you're not a member of this channel, just click on the little join button. It's down below here somewhere. Click on the join button, and it's going to call up a little window, and you can join this channel for $2, $5, or $15 a month. And it's on an auto withdrawal. So do whatever you like, whatever you feel like to help support this show. And I leave that in your hands. And thank you in advance. And so there's another story I've told a couple of different times. And I know I showed some pictures, but not everybody got to see them. And I had somebody very recently ask me if I would show these again. And that is the story of my Egyptian guy that showed up in the picture in Egypt. And if most of you remember this story, I know we've recounted it. I've recounted it in full and in part and touched on it a couple of different times. And I know we showed pictures at least once of this. But I had some people request whether or not I could show this again sometime. And I thought Friday night, I was thinking about what the heck do I talk about tonight? I thought I could launch into some more stuff that we've talked about. And then I thought, no, you know what? we're going to make it a light show. We're going to talk about paranormal stuff, talk about maybe play these sounds. Steve Clark says, yes, they can sing, as they have here in my house. And I live alone. It was at night before I even had a dog or dogs. They were singing in my living room. Steve, you'll have to tell us about that. That's really interesting. Sincerely. And Leslie says, I remember those pictures. He looked like he was wearing a loincloth. Yes. And so the reason I want to bring this up is after we talked to Barry Fitzgerald the other night, and he was talking about the Fae and the She. And remember how when we were talking about this last week, mentioned how the Fae and the fairy folk and the wee folk and the good people and all of that there are different versions of them all around the world in different cultures. The jinn being one of them. And the jinn, of course, very prominent in Arabic cultures and in the Middle East. And so I'm going to show you these pictures again. The only way I can do it is to connect you by sharing my screen. And I've got a series of pictures up here that hopefully you can see that's going to be a little better than perhaps the last time I showed them. And now, as just a little background, you know what? I'll tell you the background as we're looking at some of these pictures. Thank you, Elderberry. Elderberry's back. We've been stalling, just waiting for you to get back on. So glad you're back in here, Elderberry. And so let's do this. Let me just share. So the first thing you're going to see when I hit this button, you're going to see my computer screen as I see it right there. And I got to click on that and I hit share. And then I'm going to go over here. All right. Now you should be, I got to move this over so I can actually see the chat room. There's the chat room as I see it. So now you can see just by looking at the chat room over here on the right, you can see how delayed this can be and how delayed I see some of your posts. So the first picture we're looking at here, this is the stepped pyramid of Dozier. And, Doug Stack, Phineas McFinicus, I just cracked the bottle of hot ginger Jaeger. Oh, that should be interesting. And I'm still drunk of gin, says Mad Finn. Elderberry, and I see you all in there. And now the pic is creepy. Yes, Morgan Snow. We're going to go through this again now. Now, this is the stepped pyramid of Dozier. And this is at Saqqara. And it's not far. It's about 30 miles from Cairo by the freeway system, the highway system there. And so we drove down here, and this is the pyramid itself. And I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. Let's see what kind of resolution we have on this. And you can see some of the work that they're doing right here. And that's their scaffolding. Their scaffolding looks like something out of antiquity. If you take a look at that, that's just the modern workers working on the stepped pyramid of Dozier here. And of course, they're not working when I took this photo. It was pretty abandoned when we got there. But this is the stepped pyramid as we got there. And you can see how many people are visiting this site. I thought originally I saw some people back here, and no, there's no people there. There's a couple of people up here, and these are some of the guardians of the site. And, oh no, these are the police. They're dressed in black sweaters. They're like military sweaters and black berets, and they're carrying guns and stuff, and they just kind of sit at their outposts. So now this is the stepped pyramid of Dozier. Now, if you can see my mouse here, let's see. I wish I had something bigger that would stand out here. Here you can see my mouse circling in the blue sky in the upper right. If you go to the right of the pyramid of Dozier, down here behind these walls, down here is the Hebsed court, and this is the court where I was sitting and where I saw this figure. And it's very interesting stuff. Now, Gaza says I need to take a new video. Gaza, I need to take a new video when it's light out and my garlic is starting to grow. There you go. Gaza, I watched some of your videos. I like your gardens, by the way. I thought I would say that here. And so, anyway, step pyramid. Let's go to the next picture here. This is the Hebsed court. Now, what we were just looking at here in this previous picture, the stepped pyramid. Let me put that into full screen here again. There you can see the stepped pyramid of Dozier in Saqqara. And over to the right, down in here, on the other side of this is this Hebsed court. And it's right here. Now, here's the stepped pyramid of Dozier, a cutaway of it. The picture I took that you were just looking at was from out here somewhere, looking back, and this was the wall you were looking at. The other side where you could see the Hebsed court is down here. And I was sitting way back here on a stone. All of these little cove-topped shrines and temples all lined along here, and they were all lined along the other side, and there was that open courtyard in the middle. So this is where I was sitting when I had that vision. I had, and I can only call it a vision because I didn't know what else to call it. And see, if I come back just to tell you about this, I was sitting in the Hebsed court, and if you remember the story of the vision I had, I'll give you the quick version. I was sitting there, and it was early afternoon, 2:30, maybe 3 o'clock, maybe mid-afternoon, and bright sunny sky, and all of a sudden, I felt like everything had changed. All the ruined temples, those cove-top temples, were all built there again, and they all had long staves coming out of the tops on the front face, and a long stave coming out with a torch on the end. And the shadows were low in the sky, as if it was like maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock on a Novemberine type of afternoon. And I saw a line of priests walking toward me, all shirtless, wearing the white kilts and trays with all kinds of stuff on them. And they were walking down the Hebsed court toward me. And about 20 or 30 feet from me, they turned to the right, and I could hear them chanting. I could smell the incense on the air. I could feel the warm breeze. And so it was very interesting. And it only lasted a few seconds. And then I blinked and I was out of it already. I'm like, what the hell was that? And so, here, I'm going to get back to sharing my screen here for you. And so we'll get back here to the Hebsed court. Now, here, this area here, down below the pyramid, this is the Hebsed court. This is it blown up here. And so I was sitting you can see the spot where I was sitting earlier. Right here, I was on a stone. This whole court now is filled, very organized with stacked stones that were from the crumbled temples and stuff. And a couple of these cove top temples that you see here, there's a couple, 3 of these that are rebuilt here, and one of them over on this side. And now I saw a figure that I picked up in a photo. He was about right here. And the vantage point where I was when I took the picture was over here in front of one of these cove-topped temples. And so here I was in the Hebsed court. I was sitting right here with the stepped pyramid, as you can see. That would be right here, and the stepped pyramid over my right shoulder. Now, here's one of the first images I took. Now, you can see in this image that, let's see if I might have to bring that in. Let's just fit it on the screen to start with. This is where I was standing. Remember I said over here, I was standing right here. Here's the open court down the middle. And I was standing here next to up here. One of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right in here on the steps right there in front of this little temple. So here's the picture I took, and I was taking a picture looking back to where I had been sitting over on a stone right down in front of these stacked stones back here. And when I saw the vision, the priests would have been walking down here toward me, and then turned and gone over toward this area. Now, as I took this picture, I want you to notice something. Hey, Johan, good to see you. And those of you who haven't seen this will be intriguing. Why, thank you, Doug, for my snazzy shirt. Yes. Mary Wins is here. Good to see you. Now, if you see this, this happened in 2013. And this is when this picture is from. And I had a friend last year it was almost 2 years ago now. 2 years ago, I discovered this. And she was going to Egypt, and she wanted to hear some of my stories about the vision and where I was at Saqqara and so on. So I pulled this picture up, and I blew it up like this because I'm looking for the right here was where I was sitting. So I blew that up and I took a look at it, and I was probably down, I think, on this long rock right here, or I was on one of these. I was just sitting there and I was having a cigarette. And as I'm looking at this, I'm blowing it up and I'm going, wow, that's pretty cool. And I just wanted to review, where I had been and what I had seen. And so I'm scrolling through this picture. Hold on. And I scroll down here to this side of the Hebsed court, and I go, what the hell is that? And I'm looking at this right here. And so I start blowing this up. And I say, what is that? And what I started to see, you can see how the resolution gets when you get that high up in there. And so I'm looking at this and I'm seeing, here, I'm going to do something here. I could just take and show you how I did this. I wanted to lighten that area up a bit. And so I just took this lasso tool. It's just a Photoshop trick. I wanted to lighten this up and enhance it so I could actually see what was there. So I took this and I started, I can lighten it like that. And I thought, no, too contrasty. And so I wanted to bring up the middle tones. And so this is the kind of thing I'm seeing. Now, the only people who were there that day were some of the Egyptian guardians. And these guardians, they wear the long galabeas. And they were so obscure that day, you don't even find them in any of my pictures from that day. And so this is the picture I took initially. Now, mind you, I didn't see anything back in 2013. It wasn't until 7 years later, 2 years ago, that I saw this guy. So now I took this picture, and you see where I'm standing here. You can see the stones of this wall next to these temples where I'm standing. I'm up on the steps, and this is looking now the opposite direction from where I was standing. You see over here, there's 3 of these cove top temples over here on the far right in the upper that have been reconstructed. And these are the front areas of some of the rubble of some of these other ones. And so I had stepped up in here onto the step at the bottom here, and I'm up on the steps here. And I had looked back and taken this picture here from in there. And so then I turned around and I took this picture, the opposite direction. Still nobody there. And wait, I'm seeing something here. Is that one of the guardians back? No, that's something else. It's like a light on the wall or something. So now I go to this next picture, and I stepped out. If you look over here on the left, I stepped out of this area with the steps, and I'm looking back in the direction of, remember, there's the wall where I'd been sitting in 2013, having a cigarette, and I scrolled over here. And this is about where that figure would have been, because, as you can see here, I had been standing in, let me make this fit. I'd been standing in here, or I might have been up here. I might have come out and taken a few steps and turned and took another long shot of the Hebsed court. And that figure was walking this way down here, and you can see there's nobody there. Just a few moments later. So there's the Hebsed court without the guy. Let's go back for reference. Here's the Hebsed court. I was standing in here. Now I've stepped out here and I've turned and I've taken a photo back. I had been sitting here. This is about where the character would have been standing. And then there he is over here on the left from behind the stonework. I did not see him at the time. And then here I am now. I stepped down out of there and took a picture back, and there's nothing. So before I get into the close-up, I want to show you this. Here's the camera perspective, and I did up this little graphic to kind of show you where I would have been standing in here, looking back this way. That first picture I took was framed about like that. And then you see this guy, he's coming out. This gray area isn't there. This is just shadowed to show you what, from the angle, what the wall would have covered up of this character. And you can see here as you blow it up, that's what it would have looked like. And this is what you're seeing. A little piece of a person that was obscured. The rest of him was obscured by this wall. And so I fit that back on the screen. And this was just a close-up of the same thing, showing my perspective as I'm looking. You can see the wall is here, and he's being obscured by the wall. And now, let me show you that close-up again. I had this closer view. So here it is. From way back here, there's the stepped pyramid. There's the shot where I'd been sitting, and you see the fellow over here on the far left center. He's behind this wall. Didn't see him. It took 7 years before I actually saw him. And now if I blew that up, you would see him here. And here he is again. And see, you start getting so pixelated here that you can't make anything out. Now, the Guardians all wear these galabeas. They're all white or gray or tan or light blue, and they're long-sleeved. This is somebody who is sleeveless and has darker skin, and his hands are light in color. Now, the reason I thought about this when Barry was talking to us the other night is that maybe the reason we don't see Bigfoot, maybe the reason I didn't see this guy, the reason we don't catch things on film is because they're spirit beings. So I'm looking at this picture. When I first saw it, the moment I first saw this picture, I looked at it and I said, what is that? And I blew it up and I go, my first thought was, wow, that's an awful lot like the Bigfoot pictures you see, where you only see partial shots of something. He's partially obscured. And then, of course, the very close-up was this shot and you can see it kind of trails off here. You don't see the face, just the shoulder, the elbow, the forearm, and the thumb and the hand. So that's about as clean a shot as I can get off of that slide. And so that's what I saw. And my initial gut reaction to this was, what the hell is that? And why do I not see the whole thing? And so it's either trying to hide or just didn't reveal itself in full, but gave me an idea of what was there. So again, that's here at the stepped pyramid of Dozier is where you're seeing that. And I have more pictures of this whole site and everything we did there. And I said, one of these nights, I'm just going to do a slideshow and we're going to talk about Egypt and all the things we got to see there and all the stuff we did there. So let me get back over to the radio program, and I'm going to drop this and come back in. And while we're doing that, I'm just very curious to see if I have other pictures from this. No, it's all pretty much the same thing as I'm looking at Saqqara. And I am, however, curious to see. Hang on with me a second. I'm going to do a little experiment here. Even though we're almost at the end of the hour, let's see. I'm going to open other and this one, and let's see if this works. Boom. Okay. I want to see if this is good. I'm not sure if these are some of the Egyptian photos in here or not. These might be, they might be in here. Hang on a second. Just bear with me. Because I want to show you some other things. Let's see what we can find here. All right. Here, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to share my screen with you again in just a moment because I want to find something here and see if we've got something that we can look at. There it is. Okay. I'm going to go down here. All right. Here we go, folks. I'm going to see if I've got a couple of other Egyptian pictures in here that we can take a look at. See you, Durwood. Have a good night. Nice to have you in here tonight. All right, here we go, guys. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Boom. And share. And I'm going to come over here. Now, I'm going to scroll through here. Now, this is about every picture I've taken of my family over the last few years. And some of these go back 10 and 12 years. You can see, you know, we start getting into really old territory here. Our vacations and all of our stuff and things like that, surgeries, my wife. We're seeing all of the, let's see, but I've got the Egyptian pictures, I believe, are way back in here. So let's see how far back we can go and see if we can find this. So hang on with me while I'm doing a little bit of scrolling. See what we got. Mural painting, kids, little kids being born, all of that kind of stuff. That's all in here. So my little children, little trips we all took, all the stuff we're doing, bang, bang, and biggity bang. Here, I'm going to go here. And let's take this. Oh, that's when I beat Rainey. No, actually, she was standing in the bathroom and she was trying to do something. I wasn't going to show this. It just happens to be by me. And we were trying to get the tip off of a toothbrush, an electric toothbrush. And she was standing right next to me, and it finally came loose as I was pulling it, and I jammed the toothbrush right in her eye. So, but she survived, and she can still see. So, let's see. Let me get to my scrolling tool. Let's see if we go all the way back. Here we go. Here we go. This is all Egypt. Egypt. Way back. I want to see if Saqqara is in here. Now, this is how old these pictures are. You see those groups of people? That's my 50th birthday. So that's 10 years ago. So here we are in Egypt. This is the first trip I took to Egypt, mixed in with not my first trip to Egypt. So that's very interesting. Some of these are pictures like we're up at the top of Serabit el-Khadim here in the Sinai. And this is Hatshepsut's shrine there. Looking at some hieroglyphs on here. And this is all up in that shrine, my daughter Abby. I'm just flipping by these really quick. This is the desert down below Serabit el-Khadim. And the tracks from our four-wheelers, we're getting there. We're all packed in there and we're driving out. So I want to see if I've got some more of Saqqara in here. Now this is Gebel El Silsila, John and Maria's site. And this is the Speas of Horemheb there. And these are the pictures we took as we were walking down, looking at all the shrines at their archaeological site. Here's John Ward in one of the shrines, by the way. So it gives you an idea. And this is the first year. This is all 2013 here. And this is where we're climbing. Oh, I got to show you some of these. We went up into the shrine of Senenmut. Here's Dr. Maria Nilsson. This is John Ward's wife. She's the head of the archaeological mission there. That's a good side of her, but not the best. This is the shrine of Senenmut that was there. My guy for Moses. And you can see some of the color on the ceilings. These are some of the bulrushes growing up around down below. That's the other side of the river where the quarries are all in here. They were doing a dig a couple of years later up on this mound here where there were offices for the Roman stables there. Now this is Senenmut's shrine. And here's John. That's not Senenmut's shrine, but here we are. We're going along the cliff face. And you can't really tell here. This drops quite a bit down to the water and the rocky depths below. So we're moving along, and it was a weird angle to be doing this, to be sure. We were coming out of these shrines, and boom, we're at the end, and there's Maria. This is in the shrine of Senenmut. There she is again. Taking pictures of hieroglyphics and John leaping from cliff to cliff. And here we are. This is how we had to get up there and down out of there. And there were handholds, ancient handholds in here. So you could grab on. And one of the Egyptian servants was like, I can help you, Scotty. And I'm like, no, I got this. And so you just had to grab a hold of it all and swing yourself back around. There he is up there, the Shahad, bringing food and vegetables, some of the shrines. So I thought I had something here. Here's Maria again. Let's give you a nice shot of Maria. This is back in 2013. And she's the head of the archaeological site there. And John. And she'd scaled all these cliffs 1,000,000 times and knew what she was doing. So boom, John Ward. And I was going to see, once again, I'm scrolling through to see if we can find anything about Saqqara. Yeah, above the pit of vipers, Matt Finn. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was intense. Now, here's where we were, by the way. Those shrines I just showed you where we're scaling the cliffs. This is where I was. It was in the shrine of Senenmut. And we had to walk along this cliff here and swing around back up into there. So that gives you an idea. We're on the boat here and going by. And a bunch of shrines here. And there were 30 of these along the west bank of the Nile. So that's where we were. And the path is up here and up on top here, and you have to crawl down and get down in here. So it was very cool. That's looking down, or actually north, so downriver, because it flows north, where we were staying on the big boat. And so, yeah, old pictures. You can see I had more hair. It wasn't as bad a hair day that day. So these are back in 2013. That's not what I'm looking for. And I've got a lot of great pictures of some of these areas. So what were we doing here? Oh, just coming through up out of the bulrushes on the riverbank. This one. There. So we were just walking along the banks of the Nile in the wild out there, going through all the shrines. And so I want to see if we've got more of Saqqara in here. And we might, it looks like I'm getting home pictures are getting mixed into the lot here. Here we go. We're back. Not seeing it. By the way, there we are, Three Celts and Company. That's me on the right. It's a couple of buddies of mine and I. We had a company selling Scottish, Irish, and Welsh goods back in, I think that picture was taken in 97 or 98. So here we are back at Saqqara. I'm sorry, at Gebel El Silsila. And there's Maria again. Yeah, we were all digging, so we're all dirty there. These are more up-to-date pictures, some of these. And when you'd come in off the dig, there's Maria and John. There you are. Everybody's diving into the Nile to wash off all the dust and the silt. And no crocodiles, by the way. So I'm just looking to see if we've got anything else here that's pertinent to some of the things I was talking about tonight. And I don't see much. Oh, there's my wife. Yeah, I can share that. Boom. There's Rainey. But I call this her Elizabeth Taylor picture, by the way. So we might be out of Egypt here. Babies. Here's some more Egypt. This is Hatshepsut. Remember I speak about Hatshepsut and her funerary temple. It was built by Senenmut. This is it. And we were all the way, John and I, we went up in here, but we were also way up here in the cliff faces with the workers' temple. And or the workers' cave that's up there. That's looking back the other way. The Nile is way out here. So that's Hatshepsut's temple. Here's another shot of it. Boom. And I want to see if there's anything else here that's very pertinent. This is Luxor. We're in Luxor with all of this, by the way. This is West Bank. Now we go over to the East Bank, and this is Luxor Temple. This is the first night I got there back in 2015. John and Maria were already at their site, so I went out with my backpack and took the ferry across the river to the city and the temple, and I was there until sunset. And this is what you're seeing at the Luxor Temple. And statues of Ramesses outside. This is El Tayyib, good friend of mine. He had some people that he was guiding around that night, and I just happened to run into him out there. And so there's Luxor Temple. And there's a whole lot more to show you. None of these are in sequence for some reason. Taking pictures of the moon from the boat, handheld camera. Let's see. This is all Gebel El Silsila. This is John and Maria's site. Remember, their site is a big quarry site. And the ancient quarries where they quarried all the stone. And some of these are ramps that were built thousands of years ago as they were quarrying there. So, and if anybody's bored with this, we can wrap this up. I can maybe do another presentation someday of some good pictures. This is photographer friend from Sweden, Anders Anderson. He brought his big drone and was doing a 3D mapping of their site. And I just took a bunch of pictures of the drone to try to get some good shots of what we were doing. And so here you go. This is up as we were climbing up, and this is John's dog, Mr. Carter. So is his name. And let's see. There's the Nile looking south from Gebel El Silsila. John and John and Maria and so on. You know what I do, folks? I take 100 pictures of the same thing over and over again. You know why I do that? Because one of those is going to be your great shot, and out of the other 100. And so, I just end up uploading all the pictures, and they're all in. These are just my files, is what these are. Now, this is where we were clearing some stuff. We've got now this. I took these shots because I thought these were really cool. This is a couple of years later, and you see I'm looking across. Here's the Nile at the bottom. I'm looking across from the shrines, and this is where John and the workers were uncovering the stables of Tiberius Caesar. And there were offices up here. There's ruins up here. And you can go down the other side. In between this hill and this back wall here is where the stables were. And I'm just going to flip through these. Watch the mountaintop here because I just took a bunch of pictures. And you can see, some of the people are moving around in there. You can see them carrying the muktas. And you see the dust. That's from pouring all the debris as we're digging. And you can see how many of these shots I took. I think this is John here. There's one where you saw him running across because he had found something. So these are all the pictures of that. And these were great times while we were there. All right. There's Maria again. Maria and Mr. Carter. So these are just some highlights. I thought you'd enjoy seeing these. John Ward and me. We're out on the ferry boat. This is one of the big corridors where they hauled it's all filled in with rubble now, but they hauled the stone out through these corridors down to the boats. Here's Maria this is the stele of Ramses II, which is toppled over. And Maria's in there, and we're going through some of the hieroglyphics in there. They're showing how they loaded all these stones onto the boats. And it's all in pictures here. Since this, it has toppled over, by the way. People thought there was gold under it, locals, and so they started digging there. And the thing finally just caved in. Now, this is at the stables of Tiberius, and I took this picture, and we're using it in the book with John, but I did a very deep close-up of this. Here, look at what he's found here. We're digging, and he found this piece of turquoise. It's a turquoise bead. In all that massive dirt and dust and rock, found a turquoise bead in the stables of Tiberius. And I thought that was awesome. So, yeah, it's an amazing find. It looks like a Fruit Loop, doesn't it? Hey, Scott Allen, how you doing? And so this is, I use some of these pictures in the book. It's sifting. So we're sifting through all the little rumble. You take a bucket full and you just start sifting to see what you can find. And now this is back across the river. These are some of the shrines across the river. I walked a couple of days and just went out. That's Maria there, I do believe. This is not me. So there's Maria sitting there. I don't know what she's going through here, but let's see. Where is she? Where'd she go? She's up here somewhere. There she is. There's Maria. So, let's get back out here. there are a couple of things we found that I think are very interesting. Things like this. Now, she found this, and she put it in a piece of foam, but I want you to see something here. This is an old piece of clay, thousands of years old, with a stamp put into it that shows the cartouche of one of the rulers, and I can't remember who she said it was. But then we found stuff like this up in that stable area. This is hair, at least 2,000 years old, and it's a spell. It was braided up and just thrown in the corner of this stable. And so that was pretty amazing stuff. Oops, I got to get back down to size here. And so finding all of this kind of stuff, these are all the shrines as I was going through and doing photography. Very fun stuff. Now I'm looking, again, sorry. If I get too boring, let me know. But, here's that same set of cliffs. By the way, the shrines where we were climbing. And you can see some of the shrines we're in. It's actually a video on my YouTube page here where I'm standing inside this one right here and doing some talking about it a little bit. So that's where we climbed up. We had to come from up on top and down here and climb over and onto this ledge to get at these. So, and what else we got here? No idea what raw means. There we are. And these are just some other shots at Gebel El Silsila. Some of the shrines. This is the Ramesseid shrine. Pretty impressive shit, if you ask me. Remember when I told you the story about the Egyptian, he works for the Ministry of Antiquities. This is the fellow who had the gregarious voice. And we'd come up on deck in the morning and go, "Good morning, Scotty, me boyo. Come and have coffee with me and let us talk." And we talked about faith issues and things like that. So he was a very interesting man. Ahmed was his name. Ahmed Saad. Now, this is as we were traveling around their site, still doing there. Now, this is one of the videos I did. Was shot at this quarry right here in another place on their site. You can see they've quarried all the way down underneath all of this. And so when we walk up here, you can see all the quarries. Like this. And I had filmed a little video here from inside there, so trying to get the right angle and the right light. This gives you a size proportion for some of these underground quarries. Good night, Leslie. And thank you for that. And so, yeah, this is just pretty mellow, you know. If you're enjoying this, just say so. If you're not, you can take off or just tell me, "Scotty, give it up. Let's be done." And so this is when we were out, we were digging. We're all full of silt. And now I'm taking all these pictures, so I'm not in a lot of them. This is the Spas of Horemheb, where we docked our boat, our dahabe. Now here's a man right here in a galabea. When I talk about Saqqara and the way the guardians dressed, these are the guardians, and this is how they dressed. And so here's Maria again. We're all dirty from digging. And this shows you why we're all dirty from digging. And full of dust and dirt. Now, this is a piece that we found up in there that day. And we called it up. We had it down on the table. This shows you the size of it here. And this is another spell. It's a piece of fabric that is at least 2,000 years old. And you can see it's even got, if I go backwards, it's got the braiding on the end. It's got the colors. The red stripe is on there, and it's also got an indigo stripe, which would have been blue, a brighter blue than this. But that only came from one place at that time. This blue indigo came from Israel. This color. And this would have been about 2,000 years ago. Now here's some of the Guardians. They're all dressed in their galabeas. This shows you how they all dressed out there. And so this is when I showed you the pictures of that creature. When I say creature, I don't know what it was. It certainly wasn't one of these Guardians. And these are some of the people that were there. This is Shahad, friend of mine out there. This is John's main foreman out there. And this is Khalid Shaki. He is with the Ministry of Antiquities. Very wonderful man. This is Dr. Oli. I don't know why that just blanked out on me, but here's Maria. Again, when we were all digging. So, there she is. And, of course, John, that day. We're all dirty from... here we're looking at the piece of... I don't know why I just did that. That's odd. Here's where we're looking at that piece of cloth. Taking some pictures of it. And Maria was taking pictures of us, taking pictures of it. There's the Guardians at Gebel El Silsila. Some pretty nice people. And this was, we were out wandering one day, just wandering around, taking pictures, doing stuff. That might be me in the middle. Yeah, that's me. Our ride has arrived. This is when we walked about 8 or 9 miles out into the desert and to look at some walls that John was seeing on Google Earth. And then we walked back, of course. And so that was a lot. Here's John on his donkey. Of course, we didn't ride the donkeys. We walked. Dude, Doug, I have thousands of pictures from my various trips to Egypt. So I have no shortage of pictures, to be sure. These are artifacts. I was helping Maria catalog them. And so, you know, there's one of me. That's when we were working in the silt and digging away at one of the shrines. So breathing in Nile silt that's thousands of years old. We were taking a break, and it was way down here where you see the sandbags. That's where we were. So, and this is a look back up from where we were digging. You can see all the quarried stone here because you can see all the lines. That's from iron chisels that would chisel these stones out. That's John and Momin Saad, who is now the general inspector at Luxor Temples. And this is where we were digging this shrine here. You can see where the water and the mud lines were. So very fun, very interesting stuff. Is this our boat? Let's see. That's our boat. Moored at the Speas of Horemheb up here where the steps are. That's John and Maria's dig house. All the offices were up on the top here in the open air, and all the staterooms were down below. So that's where we lived. the whole time. The month I was there, I lived on this boat. And I'm just scrolling through to see if there's anything else worth looking at here. This was just a sweet picture of John and his little girl. And like I say, I take 100 pictures because I want to get the one that works the best. And so we had some nice pictures that came out of this. Which picture, Doug? When I took the one of John? What I was thinking when I took that picture. Remember, we're a little delayed here by about 30 seconds or so I may have been on something completely different. Steve says, this is my story. The ticket sign running under the screen has the site you can order from. There you go. All right. Yeah, I can't even see that screen. I don't even know what I'm doing. So this was my 4th trip to Egypt. Now we're on here with John and Maria. Now this is Philippe. This is what Philippe does. He comes up. He's a French it sounds like epigrapher, epographer. And he will take this clear mylar and tape it over the hieroglyphics, and he traces them. And then he brings them in and has them all scanned. So, and he does everything from all the scratch marks you can see to more modern. This was probably 19th century graffiti, but he traces all of these hieroglyphs. They have them scanned. There's our boat again. And they scanned them, and the reference material for Gebel El Silsila. And I'm just looking to see if there's anything of interest in these as we're going along. This is when we're digging again, all of these little pictures. Let's see if there's anything fun in these. Oh, I liked this just because. That's not the good one. That might be the best one I got. I was doing handheld. I didn't have a tripod with me. So I did a nice handheld shot of Orion over the boat. There's the Speas of Horemheb again. There it is with the sun rising. And the Speas just means carved out of stone. And so this whole temple a shrine was built out of a piece of stone, the stone cliff. And it goes way back in. There's a Holy of Holies back in here. Hieroglyphs all over the walls inside this. And as a matter of fact, these are what you'd see. Now, at the end of these halls, what was something we didn't see right away when I was there in 2013. If you look right in the middle of this picture, what do you see? You see a white cross that's been plastered on there. In antiquity, 2,000 years ago, the Coptic Christians took over these sites and they put these crosses on everything. What did I do here? Oh, did I freeze it up? Can't seem to get out of that. We'll get back here. Hold on. I think we'll get back there. My albums. 9. Library. Well, that might have just ended things for us because for some reason it's not coming back up. And I'm not sure why. There's Flynn and Sam. When Rowan was born. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm trying to find where all my photos went. And for some reason, I'm stuck in this now. So, my apologies, folks. I don't know why this is doing this. It won't get into my stuff. My albums are in here, but I can't seem to get into them. No projects, shared albums. Nope. Media types. Nope. So anyway, there you go. So I'm going to close this. Bang. So we're back here. Let's get out of this. So one of these days we'll do something a little better than this, and I'll show you some organized shots of some of the things we did in some of the places we went out there. And so there you go. And that's all we've got for tonight. We've gone. What time is it? 10:30. So started off the show tonight with a little paranormal. Got to show you some of the pictures of here. I'll give. No, I'm not signed in, so I can't do that. But I was going to show you the creepy fellow one more time before we took off for the night, and leave you with that. But there you go. There is everything from singing ghosts tonight to photos of something that might be a jinn or one of the fae, or it was a naked man with very dark skin revealing only part of himself behind the ruins, and we just never saw him again after I got a piece of him there. So I hope it was enjoyable, Barbie D. Thank you very much. And a little memory lane stuff there. Just having a good Friday night. And I could have gone on for hours, so it's probably good that we froze up right there. I would have looked up in 2 more hours down the road and gone, oops, we're still going, aren't we? So thanks, everybody, for being here. Gaza says, I will never visit this country in my lifetime. So it's good to live your experience, Scotty. Much appreciated. And I will say this, Gaza, a lot of people say the same thing. I will never visit there. I'll never get there. But do you know, it's I don't know if it's just a matter of expense or time or ability to do that. But going to Egypt, like from America here, going to Egypt costs about $800 to get to Cairo. And then the rest is getting around once you're there. And right now, I think the US dollar, as a matter of fact, I could look it up right now. When I was there, you could buy 6 to 7 Egyptian pounds to exchange rate is what I'm looking for, to Egyptian pounds. It was 6 to 7 Egyptian pounds to $1. Right now, today, oh my goodness. Oof. Today, $1 American dollar gets you 15.62 Egyptian pounds. So that exchange rate is crazy right now. It's twice what it was when I was there last. And Siani, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about organizing a trip. We've done it before. We can do it again. And John Ward and I took people for 2 weeks. We had them on the boat for 10 days and traveled up the river. And so it was very enjoyable trip. So there you go, folks. We'll work on that, Siani. I think we should do it. We could all get together and go. We'd have to plan it a year in advance. We've said this for a few months. So if we started today, we'd have to plan it for probably March of next year, March to April or May of next year. And I like to go between February and May because it's not too damn hot yet. You go in the summertime, it's 120 to 140 degrees. And so when we were there in February and March, every time I've gone between January and March. And it's always 70 degrees in the desert even. Awfully nice. So I would join for sure, says Siani. The last trip we did was about, it cost everybody about $4,000 for the entire trip. And what we offered was, and it was $4,000 on top of your airfare to and from Cairo. So if you were spending $800 to get to Cairo and back, we take you from Cairo down to Luxor, and we cover that airfare cost. We cover all your time on the boat. We cover all your meals. We do a breakfast and a dinner, and lunch you're kind of on your own. We cover all your attractions. Everything you have to pay to go see, we pay for it. We did on this trip. So once you got there, you paid $4,000 for this trip. plus your airfare to and from Cairo. And the rest, you didn't have to worry about anything else for 2 weeks. Now, it sounds like an expensive trip. It is. It's not cheap. But we weren't staying at 5-star hotels either. We were just staying at nice places along the way and staying on the boat. And so we'll have to see what we could work up, see if we can get a good price anymore. The idea out there in Egypt with a lot of the local entertainment venues, if you will, the travel venues, is that when the economy is down and they don't have many tourists, they'll charge you 10 times the amount of money. And they might not even tell you until you're there and you're a captive audience. We ran into that. We were supposed to stay at a hotel in Luxor. They changed the price on us when we walked up, and John said, "See ya." And we all went back to the boat, and we got on the boat and stayed on the boat an extra few days. So can't beat that price. It is a good price. So we'll let you know. We'll see. I'll have to talk to John and see what we can work out with that. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. It's been a long day. And a long show, even though not rich with content, just some fun. And I hope you enjoyed it. And so I'm just going to tell you, you know what? Live long and prosper. And I will see you all on Sunday morning, Mother's Day. Good night.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.